What's going on, everybody? So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to drive manual in advanced techniques. I'm going to be showing you double clutching, heel toe, and rev matching. Maybe not in that order, but they'll all be in the video at some point. Before we get too far though, I want to ask if you guys do like this video, please leave me a like because it does help me in the channel out a lot. And if you like my videos and you want to see more, please feel free to subscribe. Again, it does help me in the channel a lot. If you don't want to subscribe, don't worry. I appreciate you just watching this video. Thank you guys a lot. Today, I wanted to do pretty much a sequel to my driving manual video. This one's going to be more advanced tips on, or more advanced techniques while driving manuals, such as heel toe, double clutching, and rev matching. Those are the three main ones I believe most people want to know about. I don't know any other I don't know any other ones personally, so these are the three I'm going to be talking about today. It might be a short video, sorry if it is. If not, hooray. But to start off, we may as well start with rev matching. Rev matching is pretty much when you're downshifting and going through gears and engine braking instead of just holding the brakes. Rev matching pretty much saves your clutch and saves a lot of the internals of your transmission from getting prematurely worn out just from the instant shifting. Rev matching will just prolong the life of all of your transmission parts just by blipping the gas when you're coming to a stop. Every time you shift gears, just blip the gas and it won't be as harsh when you downshift. So right here I can downshift at least once. If I go from 5th and just blip the gas, I'm now in 4th. There is absolutely no shake or nothing like that to cause any problems. So it's just extremely smooth. It's very easy. I'll show you some footwork and the stick shift part side by side just so you can get a visual of what it is. But honestly, it's a lot nicer. It saves your brakes when you can just engine shift instead of holding the brakes down every time you want to come to a stop, just because you're not doing as much work. Like, your brakes aren't doing as much work. It's just your transmission, your engine that are braking. That's why it is called engine braking. Rev matching just will help out all of the internals a lot just by doing one extra step when you come to a downshift. Just blip the gas. It won't be as harsh on you or your passengers. No one's gonna get whiplash, and everyone's gonna be no one's gonna really notice that you downshifted if you do it properly. So, when you go to rev match, all you're gonna do is put your foot on the clutch, then let go of the brake, and just blip the gas. That's it. Just a quick down and up, and then you can let off, and at the same time shift down one gear. So, clutch in, shift down a gear, blip the gas, clutch out. And then it should be no problem going to the next gear, and it should be much smoother. So, again, and that's it. That's all rev matching is. The second version of downshifting is the heel toe shifting, which is mainly used for racing. It's the exact same as rev matching. It has all the same functions just to save your internals of your transmission and your clutch and all of that, just by rev matching while braking. You come to a stop much faster, and at the same time you're already in gear for a quick start. Mainly for when you're coming around corners. It's not so much to come to an exact stop, but it is around corners, or when you're anticipating a light is usually when I would use it. If I'm rolling to a light and I know it's gonna go green any second, I'll just heel toe all the way until I realize it's green again, and then the gear I'm in should be perfect for me to have some power. Like, I can do it right here. So this guy's turning in 3rd, 2nd, and there's people coming, so I have to go to 1st. But I would have already been in 2nd gear instead of being a gear too high or a gear too low to start again without any issues or without any problems from your engine trying to start without being in the right gear. But heel towing does have a lot of functions that's just not necessary when you're rev matching. I usually use rev matching coming to a stop. You could use it for the same function. I don't find it's as efficient just because heel towing, you're braking at the same time. You could wait longer before you have to start braking. You're not disrupting traffic behind you if you're just trying to roll and everyone's going 60. It's just, it makes everything quicker and more efficient. That's pretty much the main reason I would use it. Again, coming to a light, if you know it's going to go green soon, start holding your brakes, shift to 4th, or whatever gear is lower. I'm in 5th, so shift to 4th, shift to 3rd, shift to 2nd, and then the light goes green and you're ready to go. Instead of rev matching and then possibly being in 3rd still, and then the light goes and then your car is like bogging out trying to actually pick up speed because you don't have enough torque. It's very efficient. I'll do it right here as well. So I'm in 5th, I'm coming up to a light, I get into the turning lane, rev match, heel toe into 4th, heel toe into 5th, or 3rd, sorry, and then I can heel toe into 2nd, and the light just went yellow, so it's perfect, and I can now make my turn. And I'm in the proper gear still, so there's no problem, just going right back to 3rd once I speed up, and then so on and so forth. 4th, and 5th. Gears are very short in this car. The 5-speed's not very good in the Lancer, but actually, I can't say that. I've never had to replace the clutch or anything. It is decent, but there's not a lot of power, so it just doesn't work out. But that was a proper example of why I would heel toe instead of rev matching. Rev matching, I would have had to stop a lot longer. I probably would have missed the light. I might have been in the wrong gear going into the turn. Instead of 2nd, I might have been in 3rd, or I might have had the clutch already in, waiting to go to 1st, and it would have just made the start again a lot jumpier, just because you might not be in the wrong gear, so it's either going to be 1st and you're going to be jumpy, or it's going to be 3rd and it's going to bog out when you're trying to accelerate again. For heel toe, it's a little more complicated. When you do it, you're going to start braking, put the clutch in, change your gear, and then tap the gas with, it's supposed to be your heel, but I usually just use the side of my foot. I find it easier. So again, clutch in, start braking, split the gas the same way as you would rev matching, let off, and then you can just keep doing this one after another until you're in one of your final gears. I wouldn't recommend going to 1st, as it usually causes a lot more problems and it's very jumpy, so ignore 1st, but start braking, clutch in, blip the gas, and then you let go. Start braking, clutch in, downshift, blip the gas, and that's it. It's pretty simple that way. I don't think heel toe is that hard. You just have to be able to reach both pedals in your car. I find flip-flops are the easiest. Some people say skateboarding shoes or dress shoes are much easier for them, but I think this is the easiest way personally. The 3rd technique I know a lot of people ask about is how to double clutch. And double clutching honestly hasn't been very it hasn't been very viable, honestly, since the 1980s or whenever around there, when 1970s even, I think, 60s. But when the gearbox came out with synchronizers to synchronize your gears inside of your transmission, there's been no point to double clutching, because that just used to make all the speeds of your gears line up properly, so there was no harsh shifting and there was no grinding or any problems with that. So your gears used to spin at different times when you'd go to the next gear, so your 2nd would be spinning faster than your 3rd, we'll say. And when you go to shift, when you put it on, there'll be a little grind because they're not going to be linked up, and it's going to be a lot more of an issue later down the line. It's premature wear, it's going to be just a harsh shift, it's not going to be good. So back then, it was very useful, and you pretty much had to double clutch, which would be going up a gear or down a gear. Nowadays, every transmission has synchronizers to sync the gear's speeds, so there's no problem going to the next gear, and it's honestly been like that since, I think, the 1980s, 1970s. It was one of those 2 decades, I know that for sure, but since then, double clutching hasn't been as viable, but it's been a very big debate whether or not to do it, because some people believe it's still extremely useful. Some people think there's absolutely no point and you can get away with this just rev matching into the lower gear and speeding up. I honestly do use double clutching for downshifting, but I don't use it for upshifting. I don't see any help when I upshift double clutching, as I don't find it any smoother. I don't find I get more power out of it. Out of my experience, double clutching upwards doesn't do much, but double clutching down gears is extremely helpful, and I usually only do it if I have to drop 2 or 3 gears. So, double clutching up gears, again, I don't feel anything, and I'll actually show you if we have to come to a stop. I will show you right now, I don't find much of a difference. This is me shifting from 3rd to 4th. I don't know if you noticed any whiplash or anything, and this is me double clutching from third to fourth. Like, it's very, very close to the same feeling. I don't feel more power out of it or anything, and honestly, I just think it's a waste of time. I don't really want to hit the clutch twice going up one gear. I'll show you how to do it upwards and downwards on the screen just so you guys get a visual, and if you ever want to try it for yourself, feel free, because again, everyone's different. Everyone finds different techniques work for different people. So I'm in fourth gear currently, and if I want to rev match to third, it's not a big deal because we're only going 60 kilometers an hour. And if I want to double clutch, it's pretty much the exact same. I just find it much smoother and you get more power out of it. I don't know if that's just placebo, but that's personally how I've always found it. It works best when you're in fifth or sixth and you're downshifting to second or third. It works really well because that is a big gear ratio dip, and your car is going to want to take off, or it's going to want to jump, or it's going to want to lug. It's going to do something crazy, but double clutching I always found was extremely smooth, and I never saw a problem if you do it right. So now I'm on the highway. I can show you really well exactly what I'm talking about. I'm currently going speed limit, and if I wanted to pass someone on the highway, I would be double clutching from fifth to third just because it gives me a big boost in speed, because you really should never pass someone in the same gear if you're driving manual. If you're in one of your maxed out gears or one of your top end gears, you're not going to want to do it. I'll do another video of things you shouldn't do in a manual car. I know there's 1,000 of them out there on YouTube, but I'll give my own take on it just so it's a video. So I'll show you right now. I'm in fifth, currently cruising at 100, we'll say, and I want to go into third gear to pass someone on the highway. If I throw it into third, my car is going to want to jump. If I rev match into third, it might be a little whiplashy, but it will get there and it won't have too many issues. If I double clutch, it really puts the power down without any problem. There is a lot of jump because the car squats, but if I throw it into third by itself, it's gonna push me around and then start squatting and then take off. Doing it like that, I honestly find it so much smoother, and the power is just there immediately after, because you're already in the power band when you flip the gas. So it's perfectly in sync where you can just take off right away. It's instant power once you downshift. I'll show you how to double clutch on the screen, as I said, just so you understand what I'm doing, because it is a lot more difficult than the other two techniques. So in a quick motion, it'll just look like this. And that's it. That's what double clutching is. It's honestly a lot more to learn, so practice slowly. So throw it in neutral, blip the gas, let off, clutch in, blip the gas, and then let off again. And after a little bit, you'll eventually get the hang of it, and it'll pretty much feel like second nature. So I hope you guys actually learned something from today's video. I explained all of these very briefly in my how to drive manual video, which will be in the link in the description below if you want to see it. And honestly, I think that's about it for today. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave a like, because it does help me and the channel out a lot. And if you want to see more of my content, please feel free to subscribe, as again, it does help me and the channel out a lot. All my links for my social medias will be in the description below. Please drop them a follow if you want to see more of my content. And thank you guys again so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Peace.